Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Julian from the Forex Lab and the Binary Lab. So here on a Monday, introducing you this really unheard of concept that you may not know of because maybe you haven't heard of it because I coined it myself. I think I coined it. I don't know if anyone else talks about this, but the adaptation equation. This is a concept that I actually mentioned in my webinar last week, and basically, like what I want to what I want to kind of what want to share with you is something that can possibly change the way you trade, because there's something that everyone does in their trading, which is and this is something that makes people make money and also makes people lose money. Okay, and people make and lose money because they're stuck doing. They make money because they're milking the market using a method that works, but they start to lose money when they do not realize that the return from using that method diminishes in response to the market conditions, um, and they perpetuate using that method knowing that it doesn't work. Okay, so this is highly related to something that I previously mentioned that is called trader's trance. And like trader's trance is a state of mind that is really good because it's when you can very actively use your subconscious mind to make trading decisions very quickly, and much more quickly than you use your conscious mind, where other feelings can get in, like self-doubt, hesitation, and all that. So trader's trance is good, but trader's trance is bad when, let's say, you don't realize why you're not losing money. You don't realize that the method that you've been using is not working anymore in the current market. And that actually brings us to today's topic about the adaptation equation. So what is that about? So what I teach in the Binary Lab Elite and also in the Forex Learning Group, basically both of my groups that I teach, is not about strategies and techniques and methods. This is what I used to teach for the last 6-7 years. Basically, I'll be coming up with new methods and strategies all the time. But in the last 1 year, I actually stopped doing that. So a lot of people nowadays, when they kind of like send a message to my page asking my admin, like, what kind of strategies does Julian teach? Or some people message me on Facebook, like, what kind of methods and strategies do you teach? And by the way, I just found out that in Facebook messaging, there's an inbox and there's an others folder. I just found out there's actually a spam folder, and that's actually where a lot of lost messages went. So if you messaged me in the past, didn't get a reply, I'm just on top of it because I'm going through that spam folder. I know it's not spam. I mean, some of it is legit spam, but 90% of it is actually not spam. Some of you were reaching me with your questions, but that's where it went. So um, basically now I wanna go into this adaptation equation for you, okay? Because like in that last webinar, I actually explained this, but like you don't have to go through the whole webinar to find which minute I explained it. I'm just gonna give it to you here. But by the way, if you have not joined me on last week's webinar on Thursday night US time or Friday morning Asian time, do it. I'm gonna put the link in the video description after this. But if you're in a hurry, go to my Facebook page and you can find the replay. You can find where you can sign up for the replay right there. So go to my Facebook page and basically you can sign up to get a replay to that webinar. It's 3 hours of solid value. Apart from the fact that I spent about the first 45 minutes kind of introducing like how I got into binary and stuff, and how my successes and failures, which is a good story, by the way. But anyway, there's a lot of solid information there. But today, let me get to the point of the adaptation equation. So like I said, a lot of people ask me what method and strategy I use right now, which is like I don't. Yeah, I don't. It depends on the market. So depending on what the market does, I adapt a different way. Because, if the market is not always going to be in a big range where it goes like this, the market is not always going to be in a like a upward or downward channel where basically you can trade it every time it goes off the top or the bottom. The market is not always in a breakout, so you cannot always keep riding a trend. The market isn't always in a standstill, so you cannot actually try to go for very small positions, no, very fast positions that require very little movement. So basically, it's like this: every strategy that you use, okay, every strategy that I use and every strategy that you use, I'm very sure that every strategy has its own accuracy percentage. So over a large period of time, maybe certain strategy is 70% accurate, maybe certain strategy is 80% accurate, maybe certain strategy is 90% accurate. I found out that over the last 6-7 years of teaching trading, either in binary options or in forex, I found out that I didn't possibly have to create and recreate heaps and heaps of methods and strategies if only I found out adaptation equation a lot sooner. Because every time when we find that we are suddenly no longer winning, we are losing, and we start to stop using a method, okay, and we start looking for better solutions, only to find that the same thing happens again and again. We don't actually realize to ourselves that what actually changed is not the method but the market. So the adaptation equation is like this. Okay, we need to be very fast in order to recognize that the market is not going the same way that it used to. Okay, and this doesn't have to take place over a period of months or even weeks. It can even take place during the course of a day. And if you go on different currency pairs, like right now, I can maybe not right now, after this video. Okay, go open a set of different charts. I would like you to open one of the main pairs, one of the main forex pairs, such as like USD, JPY, Euro USD, GBP USD, and then one of these is fine. You can open two of each if you like two of the main pairs. Some of the popular crosses like Euro JPY, Aussie JPY, CHF JPY, and then we open some of the exotic pairs as well, like the exotic crosses like Euro Aussie, GBP, AUD. Open some of the pairs that are totally exotic, the rarer pairs, so to speak, like the USD NOK, USD ZAR. Okay, and then I want you to open some commodities like Brent and how about gold, for instance. Okay, so we have a bunch of different charts right now. Can you look at each of these charts and tell me if they are moving the same way? Between the major pairs and between the major pairs and the popular crosses, possibly it's moving kind of similar. All right, so if they're moving kind of similar, let's express that kind of similar in a percentage. Okay, so you get what I'm saying. This is where it goes. Okay, but you will notice after you look at the different, you go to the commodity, like for example I said like Brent, yeah, I also talked about like gold. Maybe you even want to look at like coffee, for instance. These are all good ones to trade, by the way. And when you look at these, you may find that the way the markets are currently moving are totally different. There's no correlation whatsoever. Maybe the percentage similarity is like maybe like not even 20%. It's like minus 50%. Okay, you get what I'm saying. So can we use the same strategy on all these different charts? Right? You probably have the answer. We cannot. So, but the point is that okay. Actually, is it okay if I give you a little bit of an exercise on what you can do to work on this? Or basically look at all these ones. Have a little bit of a plan on what you want to address, what kind of method you want to do for every single one of these, and then basically just by applying this mindset that okay, for this one I'm going to trade like this, for this one I'm going to trade like this, for this one I'm going to trade this way, okay, and then basically yeah, you're adapted. The only thing down to it is that the finer details, like how quickly are we responding to the market? Has it really changed, or are we just seeing a false sign? Okay, these are the things that is really making up the adaptation equation. So the first figure that we need is how accurate is the strategy in all experience. And you can find this out by keeping a journal of all your trades. So keeping a journal, you note down what pair, what strategy, then you know your average accuracy for that method is. Now we look at how fast you are recognizing the changes in the market. Do you recognize it fast or slow? Okay, and you can measure this, that when you trade and say okay, I think this is going to be a really good setup for a trend continuation kind of trade. It is a really good setup for a reversal kind of trade. And if this is like what we identify, okay, are we doing it? Did it work out the way we expected, or did it not? If it did not work the way we expected, and we realize that, hey, that's not the correct approach, a different approach would be more appropriate. So that would actually mean how accurate we are in adapting to it. So when you keep a record of your trading, you will realize how quickly you are adjusting to different changes in the market condition. Are you doing that very quickly? If you are, maybe you are like 80-90% adaptive to the market. So 80-90% adaptive to the market, let's say 80%. A strategy that we are using right now, maybe assuming that that strategy that we're using is 80% accurate, and then we are adapting 80% well to the market. Okay, obviously we want to get to the point like a Zen master trader. Honestly, I'm not even there yet, but I'm pretty good at adapting to the market. So if I can adapt fast to the market, let's say if I'm 80% fast in adapting to the market and I have an 80% accurate strategy, 80% of 80%, 64%. So I'm 60. So my final result when I trade using this strategy with this rate of adaptation, I'm realistically going to expect about 64% win rate. So this is the reason why sometimes a strategy can be told to you to be X% accurate, or you may even know it to be X% accurate from your results. But on certain day, you're just not making any money, but just losing money because you're failing to adapt correctly. Does this make sense? Give me some Facebook likes on this post, and sorry, YouTube likes on this post. Actually, YouTube or Facebook likes on this post, you find it makes sense. Share this video with your friends who trade, by the way, and perhaps you can actually help them improve their trading. So what I mean to say in this video, to quickly sum things up, okay, is that if you are trading and you want to be able to project how much success in terms of your profitability, how much it's going to be, okay, you need to factor in the adaptation equation, and you can only find this out by journaling your trades and just reviewing the ways that you trade. You can guesstimate it as well, and that will be through the process of a few days, and I highly recommend you expose yourself to different charts, different markets. Like I told you just now, like a couple of minutes ago, what kind of different charts to open up every single time, and that way you have an idea and know how well you can adapt. Whether it's real or demo, challenge yourself to make some deductions and trades possibly on every single type of chart, and see how well you're doing at that. Okay, obviously you wouldn't want to be spending too much money or even real money at all on the ones that you're not familiar with. Start with the ones that you're familiar with, and maybe do demo trades on ones you're not familiar with, and see how you're able to do it, how well you can adapt to the market. Then only you can understand what is your adaptivity level like. Right now, I would say that a lot of people, when they start out, they're probably going to be around like 50-60%. And that's the reason why, let's say, even if you have the best strategy in the world, you're not going to be profitable yet until your adaptation level increases. So this is something that I teach in the Binary Lab Elite, also in the Forex Learning Group. I teach this in the way of webinars every single week, because every single week I like to look at some opportunities, discuss some past setups that happen in the market, and this helps people to get an idea that, hey, like from that third person perspective, well, I didn't see that at all. Have you ever been in a trading group before? Or by the way, like in Binary Lab Elite, we have like a Telegram group. In the Forex Learning Group, we also have a Telegram group. And what's really useful about this is that when people trade, I highly encourage them to post their setups in the group, whether it's win or loss. Okay, because this serves for a few different reasons. If you post a screenshot showing how you won, and someone else posts a screenshot showing how they lost, okay, then this guy has something to ask this guy. It's like, hey, we were both in that same setup, but we both went in a different direction, or we were both in the same setup. Just that you went for 3 minutes, I went for 30 seconds. So, is there a reason why you picked this time frame and not this time frame? Do you think you can explain to me whatever made you go with this, and so that I can understand my own trade better? And in doing so, you can actually realize that hey, that's the missing piece. Okay, so there's a lot of benefit that you can get from the Binary Lab Elite and the Forex Learning Group. Even if it's not just about the webinars, but the chat group is a great place that you can learn to be more adaptive. And in fact, in the Binary Lab Elite group as well, during all the UK sessions, my cousin, I've trained him to the level that he knows my strategies very well, and he can actually execute them even better than I can. Why? Because he's a very technical, very systems oriented person. I tend to like to tweak. I'm like more like a scientist kind of thing. So I like to continually experiment. But he doesn't. He just takes my word for it and just does it exactly the way I taught him to. So what he does that can help you a lot is that a lot of people, you're struggling in applying a new strategy. Maybe the new strategy is unfamiliar to you, and you feel like, why should I trust this? I'm just so used to trading this way. But you already know that the way that you're trading is not working out. So if you um, learn a new strategy and you find that, I just cannot bring myself to apply this because I don't know how it's going to work. Well, that's exactly the case, because your belief is not there yet. So how this is super useful for you is that when you see my cousin doing, it's like hey, like let's look at GBP USD on the 2 minutes chart. We're looking at reversal. Let's look at the GBP JPY 30 seconds chart. We're looking for a breakout. And so basically he kind of tells you the currency pair, the time frame to try to look at, the type of trade. And then like a few minutes later or a few seconds later, he's going to post a screenshot, and you can compare your results. Do you do it the same way? um, and are your entries and exits the same? And that way you can fine tune yourself. And this way, we can make small baby steps to fine tuning yourself from where you're at right now. Maybe you need to learn adaptation. Okay, you need to adapt better, and maybe you need to execute certain strategies better. And this is going to bring you from where you're at right now to where you want to be, which is that your adaptation skill is good. You have a good adaptation equation, and when you trade, not only are you using the best strategies at the right time, you're also like mastering your mentality very well, so that you can get a very good end result. Okay, so if you have some questions on getting started with Binary Lab Elite or the Forex Learning Group, write to my respective pages, and if it's a question that my admin cannot answer, basically my admin will let me know so I can come in and follow up with the conversation. By the way, don't miss out on that webinar that I gave last week. There's plenty of solid information there. I couldn't stop myself from sharing too much, and it's 3 hours of solid information. Go check out the webinar replay. I'll putting the link inside the description over here, but if you cannot wait, just go over to my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/the Binary Lab page. The link, the webinar replay is right there. Bye for now. Good trading.